everybody, I am Tom Vasel, and you are here at Dice Tower Studios looking in our library, and I'm taking a look at a shelf. Today we're taking a look at shelf 2B, the second shelf on rack 2. So let's take a look at what's here and the kind of theming I put on this shelf. So we're going to start off by a couple games I'm not a huge fan of. The first one is NEOM. I don't actually know how long NEOM will stay in the library. It is a city building game of the future. You know, let me rephrase it. I actually do like NEOM. It's a fine game. But it has some disaster tiles. Like when I used to play SimCity, I never played with the disasters turned on. I built a city. I wasn't there to destroy it. So I wish that those tiles weren't in this game. But other than that, I do like the game, and I like the future aspect of it. Forum Trajanum. Yeah, I don't like it. It's really boring. If you're looking for a boring Euro game, I put this in the library for those of you who like boring Euro games. But I jest slightly, but it isn't really that interesting to me. New York 1901, on the other hand, is a fun city building game. This is a lighter game. It's almost a welcoming game as you place out skyscrapers, or, well, they're skyscrapers for back in this era of time. They're not that tall. But I like the idea of this one. Blue Orange does a good job at making these very accessible games. Now, a game that's a little bit less accessible here is Dead Man's Cabal. I actually don't know why this one's on this shelf, maybe, but this is from Pandasaurus. I don't know how long we'll keep this one in. I like this. It has a very macabre theme to it with skulls and bones, but it's very Euro-y, too. You are spending skulls to get different resources, to control a board and things. So there's a lot of interesting ideas to it, but we'll wait and see how popular it is to see if it stays in the library. Divinity Derby is a game. It's actually a reprint of an older game, which is your typical racing game, but you are kind of betting on who's going to win. Except here you're betting on Greek divine creatures that are racing. So I like the concept of this one a lot. It's more fun than it looks. It doesn't have a great look to it, but I tend to like horse racing games that you bid on, even though these aren't technically horses. Mission Red Planet, fantastic game. This will not ever leave the library. This one scales really well. There's very few Euro games that scale up to 5 or 6 players, and this one does a really good job at it. It is a simultaneous selection from your hand card game, sending astronauts to Mars. Really love it. Now we enter part of the Dice Tower Essentials section. They're not all on this shelf, but 4 of them are here next to each other, and all 4 are fantastic. I am biased, but again, a game doesn't make the Dice Tower Essentials unless I like it. So first we'll start off with probably the most popular of the 4, maybe, and that's Aquatica. Aquatica, definitely the most beautiful of the 4, where you are trying to control undersea kingdoms, and you do so by tucking cards and using manta rays to move cards and manipulate cards to get resources. It's actually a hard thing for me to explain in a short period of time, but I recommend watching our full reviews. This game is fantastic. Royals is also fantastic, and you may have never heard of it, but it is a simple area control game where you get points for controlling regions and areas and people. Think of this as the area control equivalent to Ticket to Ride. So Ticket to Ride, you collect cards, turn them in, you make routes. In Royals, you collect cards, turn them in to control areas. I think it's fantastic. I loved it. I wish more people would play it. Viral has one of the coolest themes there is in board gaming, I think, as you are a virus trying to kill somebody. Okay, don't turn away yet, because you won't succeed. The doctors keep healing this person. So you're just trying to cause more havoc than everyone else. I certainly understand if during this period of time people aren't as keen on this, but it's more silly than not. And like I said, no one dies in this game except for your little viruses you stick in keep getting killed by the doctors. So there's that. Smartphone is the most critically acclaimed of the 4. It's an excellent game. I love the theming of it. I'm always surprised when people tell me they don't. How often can you play trading in the Mediterranean games? This one's about delivering smartphones around the world and increasing your technology. It's a very much in-your-face game, so easy to play and learn, but I think the strategy is really deep. Highly recommend it. All right, so now let's move on to a couple games, well, 2 games you may have heard of and 3 that you probably haven't. The first is Tiny Towns here. Everyone heard of Tiny Towns because AEG marketed it to every human being on Earth. a few years ago. But a bingo-esque game, really like this one, but it is tight and difficult, but there's a lot of back and forth. I think I have one of the expansions included in this one. The next one's Inuit, the Snowfolk, and this one did not get a lot of buzz, but it really should have, because it's a fantastic game of collecting cards, and the more cards you collect make your actions better. So you're trying to increase different actions that you have of taking cards of different types, and it also has beautiful artwork. It is just a card game. That box is entirely too big, but it is one that I really like. Then we have Living Planet. I actually have not played Living Planet, although I've played the game it's based on, Archipelago, from Christopher Bollinger. This is the newer version of it, the nicer version of it, and that's the version we have in the library. I'm not even sure if we have Archipelago in the library. We might, but it's not here, which would make sense. But I think they're different sized boxes. Anyway, I digress. Living Planet is about a planet that's alive. I say that because I don't know what the theme of the game is. Watch Z's review. Eco's First Continent. This is another bingo-esque game. That actually should be next to Tiny Towns, probably. This one has some similarities to Rise of Augustus, where you're pulling chips from a bag and marking off different animals. In this game, there's a lot of variety. This is a more gamery version of Rise of Augustus, and I like it a lot. And the last one you probably haven't heard of, Steam Park. Steam Park is about building an amusement park for robots. Yes, that's not a joke, that's the actual theme, but the robots are always leaving waste everywhere. I don't know what's going on. I don't try to think about it too much. It is an excellent game. There's a bit of a speed element to it, not too much. If you're really slow, though, you'll be slightly penalized in this game, but I don't mind that. It keeps the game from having analysis paralysis. Has some really cool pieces, so definitely one to check out. So there you go. That's Shelf 2B, or not to be. I couldn't help myself. All right, folks, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been inside the Dice Tower Studio Library. See you next time.